Here is a summary of the February 21st, 2025 Supreme Court opinion in the case called Williams v. Reed, case number 23-191. The question presented in this case is whether exhaustion of state administrative remedies is required to bring claims under 42 U.S.C. section 1983 in state court. Justice Kavanaugh delivered the opinion of the court, in which Chief Justice Roberts and Justices Sotomayor, Kagan, and Jackson joined. Justice Thomas filed a dissenting opinion in which Justices Alito, Gorsuch, and Barrett joined as to Part 2. Please note that this summary is read by an automated voice.
Justice Kavanaugh's majority opinion. Petitioners are unemployed workers who contend that the Alabama Department of Labor unlawfully delayed processing their state unemployment benefits claims. They sued the Alabama Secretary of Labor in state court under 42 U.S.C. section 1983, raising due process and federal statutory arguments and seeking a court order requiring the department to process their claims more quickly. The Secretary moved to dismiss on several grounds, including that the state trial court lacked jurisdiction because the claimants had not satisfied the relevant statute's strict administrative exhaustion requirement. See Alabama Code Section 25-4-95. The state trial court granted the Secretary's motion and dismissed the complaint, leaving the claimants in a catch-22, unable to sue to obtain an order expediting the administrative process because they had not yet completed the process allegedly being delayed. The Alabama Supreme Court affirmed on failure to exhaust grounds, concluding that Section 1983 did not preempt the state's administrative exhaustion requirement. Held, where a state court's application of a state exhaustion requirement in effect immunizes state officials from Section 1983 claims challenging delays in the administrative process, state courts may not deny those Section 1983 claims on failure to exhaust grounds. Pages 5 to 10. A state law that immunizes government conduct otherwise subject to suit under Section 1983 is preempted, even where the federal civil rights litigation takes place in state court. Felder v. Casey, 487 U.S. 131139. Thus, in Howlett v. Rose, this court held that Section 1983 preempted a Florida rule extending the state's sovereign immunity from Section 1983 suits to municipalities, counties, and school districts because it, in effect, afforded immunity from certain Section 1983 claims, 496 U.S. 356, 366. And in Haywood v. Drown, the court held that a New York statute designed to shield correction officers from damages claims by prisoners was preempted by Section 1983. 556 United States, 729, pages 5 to 6. B. Under Alabama's exhaustion requirement, state courts cannot review claims of unlawful delays under Section 1983 unless and until the claimants first complete the administrative process and receive a final decision on their claims. Such a requirement operates to immunize state officials from a narrow class of claims brought under Section 1983. Under this court's precedents, Alabama cannot apply such an immunity rule. Page 7. C. According to the Secretary, the jurisdictional nature of Alabama's exhaustion provision distinguishes it from the state rules at issue in Haywood and Howlett. But this court's precedents have not treated the jurisdictional label of state rules as dispositive when state rules functionally immunize defendants from a class of Section 1983 claims in state court. In Haywood, for example, the court stated that the jurisdictional status of New York's rule did not insulate it from preemption. 556 U.S. at 739 to 742. Next, the Secretary suggests that any delays in the state administrative process can be cured by claimants seeking a writ of mandamus from the state courts to compel the department to act more quickly. It is not evident, however, that mandamus is available to the claimants here. In any event, the Secretary's argument is simply another way of saying that the claimant must go through the state process before suing under Section 1983 to challenge any delays in that process. Just as Alabama may not force plaintiffs to complete the state administrative process before plaintiffs may sue under Section 1983 to challenge allegedly unlawful delays, the state may not force plaintiffs to seek mandamus before bringing those claims. Pages 8 to 10, reversed and remanded.
Justice Thomas's dissenting opinion. Alabama law requires claimants seeking unemployment benefits to exhaust their administrative remedies before suing over those benefits in state court. Petitioners, the claimants here, failed to complete that process before they sued under revised Stat Section 1979, 42, U.S.C. Section 1983. The Alabama Supreme Court accordingly held that it lacked jurisdiction over the suit. That holding was plainly permissible. As a matter of first principles, states have unfettered discretion over whether to provide a forum for Section 1983 claims in their courts. And Alabama's exhaustion rule does not transgress the limitations that our precedents have recognized. The court concludes otherwise by endorsing an as-applied theory of futility that is both forfeited and meritless, moving our jurisprudence even further off course. I respectfully dissent.
Case implications. Based on this Supreme Court decision, state agencies and courts may need to modify their administrative exhaustion requirements to create explicit exceptions for cases challenging systemic delays in the administrative process itself. This ruling could potentially lead to an increase in Section 1983 due process claims challenging administrative delays across various benefits programs, not just unemployment benefits, as plaintiffs may now more readily access state courts without fully exhausting administrative remedies in delay-based challenges. State legislatures might respond by explicitly codifying timeframes for administrative actions and creating streamlined procedures for challenging delays, potentially including express mandamus-type remedies. To avoid running afoul of this decision's catch-22 concern, the decision's narrow focus on delay-based challenges may result in a patchwork of state-specific approaches to exhaustion requirements, with some states potentially maintaining stricter exhaustion requirements for other types of benefits-related claims while carving out exceptions for delay challenges.